Nizar Farzak is a lecturer of international affairs at George Washington University. He joins me now live from Washington. Professor, great to have you here with us on TRT World. It's mind-boggling, isn't it? More than 21,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza. More than 85% of the population of the besieged enclave has been displaced as a result of Israel's indiscriminate bombings. But all the Israeli war cabinet is fighting over is whether or not to launch an inquiry commission to investigate the events of October the 7th. Tell me, what do you think this tells us about the priority of this cabinet?
Thank you for having me. Definitely, they are in a quagmire. There's a clear conflict of interest between the military and the political echelon. Now, 3 months into the war, they have very little to show besides the assassination of one of Hamas's leaders. And therefore, the pressure to move into something more sustainable that's less heavy in military casualties and cost, in fact, means that the public is going to want to get some answers. It looks like Gallant saw the writing on the wall and tried to preempt, as your report says, tried to preempt making the military the scapegoat. But the right wing in the Israeli government is so invested in what's happening. In fact, some of them feel that this is an opportunity to finally correct 1948 or finish the job of 1948 and the Nakba. Therefore, each side is trying to move the pieces in such a way that what comes next month is something more favorable to their political goal.
Now, Professor, my understanding of the issue is this. Yes, there are divisions within the Israeli war cabinet when it comes to domestic Israeli issues, but when it comes to Israel's so-called military operation in Gaza, there is unity. And the unity is so strong that even a country like the US is not able to break it. What's your navigation through this?
Yes, they are in agreement that they need a victory. It's just that they disagree on how to achieve it. And that's the problem. There is such a dearth of intelligence with the Israeli military and intelligence institutions that they are unable to predict or assess what they can or cannot do. So this difference of opinion, the lack of actual clear strategy, is what is putting a very big price or very big cost for those actors within the military establishment and the intelligence establishment, because somebody is going to need to take the blame, and everybody's very afraid because without a victory, probably the public is going to want several heads to roll.
And Professor, as you may know, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has initiated another diplomatic push to end the war in Gaza to address the humanitarian situation in the besieged enclave. He has arrived in Turkey. He will be traveling to Tel Aviv as well. And certainly this is not the first time he will be going to Israel since October the 7th. Tell me, what do you think he's going to do differently this time around?
I think it's the one sticking point is who controls the Gaza Strip after the war. Many parties, Israel and the United States, are under the impression that Hamas is not going to be an actor. I'm hard pressed to see how that is even a possibility. But they're trying to talk with different Arab countries, with different international institutions, maybe NATO to play a military role or like to secure the area, and then the UN to play administrative role. That question is extremely difficult and hard to predict or to manage. And I think Blinken, that's the main focus for Blinken. They want to find some credible scenario where there is sufficient control of Gaza to make it less of a threat to Israel, while at the same time not have this humanitarian situation become so bad that we have a conflict again.
Professor Nizar Farzak, thank you very much for talking to us here on TRT World. As always, really appreciate your taking out the time.